Okay, so all I can say is I decided to go to VirtualBox because things was just not adding up. Okay, and as you can see, I have bridged my adapter to. I don't, why this name is coming up. I don't know why, because I've even changed the name in Device Manager. Okay, um, looking at my PC here. All right, even in Device Manager, it will come up as NIC 1 and NIC 2. As you can see, the description down here says NIC 2 and NIC 1. Okay, so now I'm going to actually, I've created the PCs, okay, in the background. I've even bridged number 2, which again, I don't know how it's pulling up these devices, okay, to network 2, which will be NIC 1. Okay, so now, um, so let's bring up number 2. Turn that on. Okay. And you see the description up here says PC1 and it says PC2. Okay. Hey, from my experience, VMware, man, it has gone downhill. I mean, just simple stuff isn't working. Okay. So I decided to switch over to VirtualBox. Okay. This came up with a 169 address. Okay. I disabled the interface. Okay. Inside the VM, re-enabled it, and bam, it pulled an IP address. Okay. So, going back over to our main PC. Okay. NIC 2, we're going to plug that in, and that should change to on status. Boom, done. Okay, there it goes. All right, now let's go into control panel of the VM. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go down to networking. Okay, this thing's very slow. I gotta make sure when I cloned it, it actually cloned all the actual hardware settings too. So CMD. IP config. Alright, it actually pulled it already. Okay. Still, I'm gonna go ahead and disable it and re-enable it. Huh. That's weird. Okay. So now I should be able to ping 192.168.1.205. Okay, and we're successful. Okay, now we got to understand something here. Okay, all right, as we are pinging this IP address, okay, consistently, okay, we should be able, even though it's still in the same broadcast domain, okay, we should be able to go through and, if I can find it. Oh, they're already up here. Okay, so, do show interface, no, show IP interface brief. This should tell me who's up. And actually, you know what? Let's do it this way, and let's go ahead and pipe it and include up status. Okay, and then we're only looking at the ones that are up. So 13 and 14, okay, show VLAN brief. Okay, 13 and 14 are in the same VLAN. Config T, interface GO14. Yes. Switchboard access VLAN 20. Now this is not created, but it should create it for me. Alright, VLAN doesn't exist, creating VLAN 20. Okay, exit. Alright, and now you're seeing our pings are starting to time out. Okay, so our lab is finally set up where, you know, it's funny how from my perspective, VMware is not going to be something I'm going to be using in the future anymore. Okay, which will make me re-question my desire to use ESXi. It's a system that I know, but it looks like I'm gonna have to learn a new one because something like this is so simple with bridging the virtual interfaces to a physical interface, and VMware just wasn't working. It wasn't even pulling an IP address. Okay, all right. In the background, which I did not record, I went through my entire network. Okay, made sure that my DHCP should be pulling, which it should be because this PC here, okay, not the VMs, but this PC here, all right, that's holding the VMs. Guess what? It was pulling it, okay, telling me that all that was there. So somehow with the bridging, okay, all right, and you also got to understand that I could not ping from one PC to the other because I wasn't even pulling ARP information, okay. So, and it's not my switch, okay. I just deleted VMware altogether, installed VirtualBox, and everything works fine, okay. So now, okay, instead of putting this in a back to VLAN 1, I'm going to say no switch port access VLAN and get rid of the 20. All right, and I got to go in the interface first. And there, and now you see we can ping our PCs again. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our adapter. Okay. Oh, by the way, I also looked up via a Google search. Not saying it's from Microsoft themselves, but from a home version to a pro version, there's no difference as far as putting an IP address on there. Now, remember, on another video, as I put an IP address on there, okay, in the network setting, it was not coming in. It was not showing up in IP config, which that particular operating system was a difference of being a home version and a pro version. But apparently, in Windows 10 and 11, that's not the case. So, okay. So, I believe I installed Pro anyway, but it doesn't really matter. So now, 192.168.10.5. Okay. And tab to get our subnet mask. Okay. And now that should fail. Okay. Now, okay, I'm gonna go into this adapter and go to properties. And I thought I got rid of all these already. Don't tell me they come back after. Oh my god. So anyway, okay. I mean, you don't have to disable those. Those are just my annoying thing that I do, and it's not necessary. 168.20.5. Okay. So now, IP config. All right, you can see that it has changed. Okay, notice that the first time, because after you hit OK, it does take a minute for that network adapter to reinitialize, shut services down, bring them back up to have the proper IP address on there. Okay, so now IP config, and now we got 10. So we're going to say ping 192. Also before we do that, we're going to say ARP-A. Okay, notice that the IP address for 203, which I believe that was the IP address, was it? 205. Okay, that 205 is in here. Okay, all right. Where in the other situation, which I didn't record it, that was in the background, trying to figure out what's going on. No ARP was coming up. Okay, so that right there is what made me decide to go to VirtualBox. I'm like, and not to mention the fact, downloading things from VMware has been a hassle. Literally, it has made a bad taste in my mouth to utilize that software, and even Workstation now seems to not be up to par. Okay, so it has been eliminated from me until I see a fit to go back to it, because this is just simple stuff. And remember, that virtual PC in VMware is another layer to troubleshoot that I don't have time for. Neither do you. Okay, VirtualBox, hey, it does what it's supposed to do when you're bridging the interface. Okay, which VMware used to, but for some reason, and I'm not trying to figure out, that's on VMware stuff. Okay, and you know what's funny? I don't even mind, but I don't even care if I have to purchase the product at a high rate, as long as it does the job that it needs to do. Because remember, my focus is never money. My focus the the results that I'm trying to get, and money is not my result. Okay, all right. Money is a byproduct. Okay, get good at what you do. Okay, the money comes. I don't care about that. All right, I need to make sure that my stuff is working, and I'm not wasting valuable hours troubleshooting something that I should not be having to spend time troubleshooting on. Okay, so VMware has proved to me that it's it just, hey, it is what it is. I mean, you want me to use your product? Hey, make a better product. So now, that's as hardcore as I can get on that subject. Okay, but now, okay, we are going to ping 192.168.20.5. Okay, and now we are failing. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go into Visio and tell you what we're doing here. Okay, stop. Okay, and now we're going to go to a new one. Okay, am I crazy? File, there it goes. New. Okay, blank. All right, and now we're going to go into network. All right. Now we're going into network. Well, technically they're both network, but still. And we're going to take a work switch. Okay, so now. Switch 1. Okay. Slide that in there. And let's move it over. And let's kind of turn this a little, come on, a little bit better. There we go. Get that up. Notice that zooming in gives you more control. All right, go ahead and group that. Okay. And let's go ahead and copy this. And let's get ourselves a line here. Okay. Boom. And now let us, actually we'll just say PC1. PC1. PC2. Go back to home. Boom. Okay, and now we are going to copy this, flatten it out. Okay, and now we're going to say, actually we can do it this way. GO13. Okay. All right, go to the next line, which we're going to double click in here. Okay, and shift enter to go to the next line. Otherwise, I guess it does. And we're going to say VLAN 10. And we're going to fill this in orange. Come on. I'm not holding control. I was holding function. Okay, so now this is going to be 14. This is going to be 20. Okay, and now we're going to change this to blue. Okay. All right. Now, let's go into here. 192.168.10.5 and 192.168.20.5. Okay, so now, okay, so our diagram is created, and now we're going to add these devices into their proper switchboard. Okay, so interface G13, switchboard access VLAN 10, okay, and then 14, 20, okay. Show VLAN brief. Remember, it doesn't go into VLAN until you exit out of it, out of the configuration. So now, 13 is on VLAN 10, 14 is on VLAN 20, okay. Now, here is the thing. Let's bring up our devices here. Oh my God, Kyle, what the hell? Bring this up. Okay. See, that's that mouse shit snapping to the next thing there. Or it's just, user error. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so now we're going to bring this up here. Okay, because we can see our diagram. And we are going to ping. Alright. Now, as we're trying to do that, we're going to go back and take a look at our ARP table. Okay. And now, here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. And I'll be right back here for a second. Okay, so you do not see an entry for 20.5. Okay. And I want you to understand how ARP works from a TCP/IP perspective. Okay. Anything within the same network, okay, there's no routing that is necessary, okay, from TCP/IP's perspective, okay. So anything that you ping on the one dot network, it's going to put in its ARP table. All right. Now, if I'm going to the 20 network, even though I'm in the 10 network, okay, as you can see now, we're starting to get entries for a 10.255, okay, but nonetheless, the ones is what we started for at first. But now we're on the 10 network, okay, and since I am actually trying to access a 20 network, TCP/IP knows that is not on the same broadcast domain. Now, our broadcast domain can be a physical broadcast, meaning separating those domains via a physical aspect, cabling, devices, whatever, okay, or logically with TCP/IP, okay, all right. Now, from that aspect, the only way to communicate between the networks is I have to have a default gateway set, okay. Now, if we go to ipconfig, notice I don't have a default gateway yet. Okay, so you know what? We're going to set one. So now we're going to go into here. And we're going to say the default gateway is 192.168.10.1. Okay, all right. Now, we go back to ipconfig, and there we go. It's there. Now you got to understand, when we're communicating from PC to PC, this is going to say, hey, 20.0 is out of my network, so I'm going to send that traffic and anything else under my network to the default gateway. Now, TCP/IP does its job by sending that traffic to 10.1, whether it exists or not, which at this point it does not. Okay? All right? Now, Okay, so now notice, okay, that we're going to try to ping 192.168.10.1. Yeah, I could have just did one ping, but it doesn't really matter. All right, and if you're wanting to do that, I think it's a -A, but nonetheless, let's take a look at our command, and what we're looking for is count. Oh, I'm sorry, ping, and N is the count. Okay, so if I say ping 192.168.10.1 -N1, I'm only going to do one packet. See that? Okay, but nonetheless, ARP-A. Okay, and now you can see I don't have any response onto this broadcast. Okay, and I don't have anything in my ARP entry for 10.1 because nothing came back. All right, and you know what's funny? Why am I? Okay, that's not what I. Huh. Okay. Nonetheless. All right. So, okay. So what we're going to do? Remember that PC1 is in VLAN 10. Okay. On our God, I really hate that I'm doing that. I'm always like missing where my mouse wants to exactly go. Just close these. Oh my God, yo, this is getting bad. Do I need to slow my mouse down or what? I think I'm gonna have to get a new mouse. I mean, this one is really old. I just don't like the fact that I cannot pinpoint where I want to go to, and this has been happening ever since I started using this mouse. So nonetheless, like I said, could be user error, could be me going too fast. Who knows? All right, so back to PC1 now. I am going to create a interface because the only way for us to communicate between PC1 and PC2 that are different VLANs, we have to route that information, meaning that we need a layer 3 interface. Okay, and this is how we create one. Interface VLAN 10. Now, do show IP interface brief. Interface VLAN 10 is now alive. As you can see, we already have VLAN 1 on there, okay, that has an IP address that allows me to communicate via layer 3 on this particular switch, so I can telnet into it and be able to manage it through telnet. But VLAN 1 does not have an IP address, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to ping 192.168.10.1, which is what we set to our default gateway, meaning that IP address 192.168.10.1 255.255.255.0, and let's see what happens. Wow, now I can ping my default gateway, which will be this switch. Okay, now, okay, let's go ahead and close that. But it is 20.5 that we want to get to. And remember, this is also two-way communication. So I'm giving switch 1 a default gateway, that's fine. But that traffic will be able to get up to here, and switch 2 has to have an interface to route it to. Otherwise, it goes nowhere. So let's go into interface 20, and let's do IP address 20.1, okay, and hit enter. Now, that traffic is now getting to PC2, okay? The problem is PC2 does not have a default gateway, okay? Meaning that PC1 still is not getting any more responses. So now let's go into PC2, okay, and let's change its adapter with a default gateway of 192.168.20.1. Boom, boom. Have to hit OK twice. Okay, that's always a good sign. Okay, that message that just came up. And I missed it, so oh well. So nonetheless, okay, there's 20.1. Now, do show RP interface brief. Okay, so 20.1 has a actual default gateway. Okay, so why isn't 20.5 coming back? All right, first of all, we're going to do several things. What is this? Yeah, I don't really care. Okay, what I do care about is we're going to do this again. All right, so now we get to troubleshoot once again. So first of all, okay, we're going to do this. Close. Ping 192.168.10.1. Good. Okay, and now we're going to try to ping 20.1. That's good. And now from here, we're going to ping. Okay, first of all, let's take a look at the ARP table. Okay, so ping 192.168.20.1. Okay, so we have an issue. Oh, no, we got it. Okay, so now let's go into ARP. 20.1 has it there. ARP. Okay, something's just I pulled it. There it goes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to disable, re-able. This will clear my ARP cache. I swear, if my VM just locked up, I'd be really upset. Oh, Lord. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this. Save machine. No, power off machine. Alright, let's go back into VMware. VirtualBox. Oracle. Alright. If it locks up, it locks up. Who cares? Alright, let's go back to here. And start. Not saying this is the first time or will be the last time that my VM locks up. For whatever reason, I don't really care. It's just a virtual machine. Okay. And yeah, you also gotta understand too, this is a Windows running on Windows. You get a little more reliability creating a hypervisor on bare metal. Okay. Which I have 2 servers, they just don't have any hard drives or RAM, which I need to fix. But like I said, I got financial stuff I got to worry about first. Now, so CMD, IP config. Okay, that means it never came back on. Control panel, and network sharing. And let's go ahead and re-enable. Okay, and now IP config. And yes. Okay. Okay. And ARP. Okay. So So now we got rid of the 1 addresses, and now we only have the 10. Okay, so now let's go ahead and ping 192.168.10.1. Well, that's interesting. Not good. Okay, so now IP config. We do have 10.1. Did I put in the address wrong? Yes, I did. There we go. Okay, so now let's go to 20. Good. And now we're going to go to 20.5. Now, let's see if our firewall is shut off. Yeah, it's off. Okay, and from here, let's see if we have routing even turned on here. Show IP route. IP routing. What? Is this just a layer 2 switch? Oh, this might be just a layer 2 switch. Okay, so let's go back over to switch 2. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on switch 2. Okay, meaning that we need to minimize this and this. Bring this up. Yes, I know. 4, get rid of that. Switch 2. Okay. And get rid of this. Okay, so what we're going to do is interface FA013. Well, first of all, show, run, include routing. IP routing. Okay. Show IP route. Okay. All right. So that actually show, run, include routing. There we go. Okay, so now this is actually set up to allow routing. Okay, which is how you would turn on routing, the routing engine of a layer 3 switch. Apparently, switch 1 isn't on a layer 3 switch. Okay, all right. Which is probably why I got it for $100 when it was doing gig traffic. But it doesn't really matter. So nonetheless, interface VLAN 10. IP address, IP address 192.168.10.1 255.255.255.0. Okay, we're going to VLAN 20. All right, and then we're going to make this 20.1. Okay, now we're going to go back over here to PC1. Which for some reason is the second one. Okay, and we're going to go back. Oh, it's a ping 192.168.20.5. Okay, all right, and now what we're going to do is go back over here to switch 2 here. All right, and we're going to say in and show IP interface brief. Okay, now here's the cool thing about a interface VLAN. The only way for interface VLAN to be up and up is if there is a port in that VLAN and a port status in that VLAN that is in up condition. Okay, so config T interface FA13 switch port access VLAN 10, okay, and switch port host, okay, and now we're going to go into 14 and do the same thing there, and then access VLAN 20, okay, show IP interface brief. Okay, so now what we're going to do, okay, you can see that the status is up, but the protocol is down because we don't have a live port in there. And now we're going to disable or disconnect FAL13, okay, which is showed up on the console. And we're going to put that in 13 of, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13 of this. You see that comes up, and now our interface VLAN is up. Okay, all right, which is good. Okay, but our interface VLAN is down. So let's remove our other one, which is for 14. Let's bring that up. Okay. Alright, so now show IP interface brief. That's why we always, okay, and look, I am now communicating with PC1 over to PC2. Okay? Alright, I could have sworn that thing said down. Maybe I was looking at VLAN 1. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at VLAN 1. Alright, so, rule of thumb, guys. Always use show commands, okay? Always do verification with pings and any other methods like applications. If you need to make sure applications are working, make sure you engage the application team after the change or part of your change, okay, before you close out your change, because we stare at this information all the time, okay? And as I'm looking at VLAN 10, all I saw was administrative down on VLAN 10, which I should have realized that that wasn't the case because it said down, not administrative down before. But our eyes play tricks on us all the time, especially us looking at this data all the way and all the time. But now, we have successfully done inter-VLAN communication from one PC to another. Now, let's take a look at this. Okay? Let's take a look at our arc table here. Now, we have an arc table, okay, for the 10 network and the 20, which will make sense because I have an interface in both of those subnets. Okay? And our interface VLAN, whatever number we're doing, is going to be our layer 3 routing for that particular interface VLANs. And look, I have 2 directly connected interfaces in my routing table. Okay? Alright, so we have successfully done interface VLAN traffic. Okay? Alright, so this lab was a success. Alright? And now I need to make you understand that, first of all, spanning tree is coming back. Okay? Alright? We just did some basic spanning tree stuff in the beginning, but we will be coming back to other spanning tree videos, so don't be concerned. And you also got to understand that this will be more like advanced spanning tree, okay, topics, but that might be multiple levels of videos as well. Okay, so for right now, spanning tree is done. Okay, but it's coming back because there's a lot more to learn about spanning tree. All right, so but we got the basics down. Now with this, we have done routing without learning anything about routing. Okay, nothing. But routing is coming. Okay, because I believe this is the last thing that we need to do with these switches as they are done. Now, ideally, instead of using VM host, okay, I could have used routers as my host. I could have did that, but my routers are sitting behind something where my switches are sitting on. Getting to them is not easy, and again, I'm trying to get a new desk and rearrange my area where my routers and switches could just sit together on the desk on just a flat desk, and it'll be a Vera desk in case anyone did not realize that's what I was using in the past. Those desks are great. The desk I have now is not just flat; it has a flat desk, but it has drawers and it has walls on either side of the desk, and I can't just add. I'm limited with my space. Put it that way. Okay, so nonetheless, okay, we have successfully did this from a Swiss perspective. Okay, and I believe this is the last thing with switching. I have to go back and take a look, but here you can see successfully we have done this, and okay, if we go over to here, okay, I'm gonna have to install Wireshark on both of these machines and go from there. But nonetheless, guys, we're successful. And of course, I want you to realize that with every success comes with 10 failures behind it. So that's why I like recording the failures. Okay, so be determined, be strong, be Cisco. That's it, right? Be strong, be determined, be Cisco. I can't believe I messed up my own saying. All right, but nonetheless, see you guys in the next one.